Listeners, what if your biggest deja vu moments weren't coincidences? What if that instant connection with someone you just met wasn't random at all? Today, we are stepping into a world where time bends and the soul keeps traveling. Our guest, Donna Hartley, is a world renowned past life reader and author who has crossed over 6 times. Yes, 6, and returned with wisdom that has helped people all over the globe make sense of their lives. Whether you are a believer, a skeptic, or just curious, this conversation might shift how you see love, loss, and even the choices you make every single day. So tighten up your belt, sit down, take a deep breath, and let's dive in. First of all, thank you, Donna. Thank you for being here on the show. It's a pleasure to host you today.
Thank you. It's an honor to be here and to talk about one of my favorite topics. Have we been here before? Will we be here again? And are we held accountable for our actions?
So true, so true. Thank you for that. Okay, Donna, let's start with here. Okay. So when someone says that I think I've been here, or if somebody says that I am remembering something, there was something strangely familiar about this situation or about this person. So how do you help them figure out if that is just a feeling or it has something behind it or it has some meaning to it?
Well, first of all, before you're born, anyone, before you come into Earth, you meet on the other side, whatever you want to call that dimension, the universe, heaven, whatever. And you meet with your people that set up the goal with you. You have mentors, you have angels, you have guides, you have your karmic family you meet up there. You have your soul family, you have your guardian angel. And then you decide, most important thing when you come in, what is your purpose? What is your mission? Then you align the people that you're going to meet. So yes, those are souls that you've been with in other lifetimes. So when you meet somebody and you go, gosh, they seem familiar. I must know you. My little thought to myself, because I'm a past life reader, is, oh yeah, we probably met in another past life. But most people don't get that at all but there's that click. There's connection. You walk into the room, there's 200 people, but you can only connect with that one because you made that agreement. Now, this is where people get sucked in, especially females. They meet this wonderful guy and they go, this must be my soulmate for this life. Well, maybe it is, but maybe he was a soulmate in another life, but you're just kind of allowed to meet this time, for a year or two and be friends or move on because both of you have different things to do in this life. Now, I have met men that I know I've married before in other lives, but we weren't meant to be in this life. So first thing, how do you know that deja vu, that gut feeling? Something says he's interesting, he's a draw, or a battle begins. You repelled because you've fought each other in another lifetime. But don't get hooked in right away. I always say, get away, get calm then, like the next day or the day after, and ask, is this person for my highest and best good? Is this person supposed to stay in my life a long time or a short time? And you've got to respect those boundaries because you already set them up on the other side. So that's where that deja vu comes. Meditation helps tremendously to tuning in, and so does trusting your intuition, which is that gut feeling that, don't discount that because it's very short, but it's telling you something.
That is so beautiful and thank you. I totally agree with you. Sometimes we just click with someone and we if talking romantically, a lot of people feel also I'm in that age wherein, every other person has this story, that's my soulmate. But
Mm.
there are sometimes when you really need to be apart and you need to respect that too, that it might be a connection somewhere else, but now it's time to give each other that space of newness.
And this also happens, excuse me, with your health. You have a health issue. And you go, why do I have this health issue? Well, you dragged in that karma or that lesson from another lifetime. I'm going to give you a short example. I've had 3 heart surgeries in this lifetime. I know you're looking at me because I have lots of energy and I'm positive, and I am, but 3 major heart surgeries. My aortic valve. I had it when I was 16, I had it in the 50s, and then I had it during the pandemic. 3 for the valve. So I went in and I went to my Akashic records and I said, show me where this pattern began. Now, my mother, my father, my grandfather, everybody for 7 generations back has had heart disease and died of it. So I really wanted to know. And then I saw this life. Oh my gosh, I was in like the Middle Ages. I was in Europe. I was like an urgent. I couldn't see any parents around. I was stealing food. I was probably 15 years old. I mean, I was covered in mud, and then I saw the Lord of the land who controlled everything. He came through the village. The next day, he sent a woman to clean me up, wash me, clean my hair, gave me a beautiful dress, a beautiful green cape. I had food on the table. I had a little one room of my own. I had a fireplace. I had a bed. I became his mistress. Okay? I wanted to survive. See, that's why you can't judge your past lives. They're all lessons. Then, a few years later, I got pregnant. And I said, you must leave your wife and marry me. I said it over and over again. Then I had a miscarriage, but I still lied to him. I said, you must leave your wife and marry me. He sent his 2 henchmen. They got off the horses. They took a dagger. They stabbed me right in my heart, my aortic, where my aortic valve is. And in that moment, I locked in anger, betrayal, never to trust a man. How can you do this? My heart is broken. Guess what? This lifetime. See, because I had to go in then. I had to forgive him. I had to forgive the guys that killed me. The townspeople just let me lie in the gutter for 3 days. But most important, what people have to learn from past lives or patterns they have now is to forgive themselves. Once I forgave myself, I was at my heart doctor's. I go in once a year. He said, your heart's better than it was like 10 years ago. Because I have that lie out of my system. So that's what happens sometimes. We bring in negative feelings, negative behaviors that come forth, and we have to take the time and say, where did that come from? Where did that pattern, where did that disease come from? So now that I know it, and I've read for other people that they've had a hip that wouldn't heal. And I told them where they were and where they were stabbed and how they betrayed their people, or somebody else that was just cruel. And I said, you got to forgive yourself, and then you have to forgive the other people. That's the only way we start to heal, not attached to the negativity. So anyway, I'm cleaning also heart conditions for 7 generations back, because 7 generations. So I chose as an individual to clear that up. My brother doesn't have heart disease. It's not going on. So that was, we choose that sometimes to clean up the karma of our family ancestral line also.
Yes, that is so true. And that is fascinating to me, okay? The way that you've talked about your past life and how you've been clearing the karma of your ancestors and your generations.
Yes.
Commendable and fascinating. It's so fascinating. Also, I'm curious. We've also talked about people finding people from their past lives and meeting situations and having the same patterns. So many people didn't notice these patterns. Some may fear it, some may take it in a different way, and it does not seem to make sense to them. So how do past lives, how do they fit into these certain patterns, and what is the process? How do they just barge into us and seem familiar to us?
Okay. So many women today made arrangements on the other side. They chose their husband, and they had their husband in another life also. But that life, he was really not present for them, because men for generations didn't communicate. They weren't there for the children. They didn't see their wife as an equal. So what happens in this life, they both marry again with the agreement that they're going to be more equals. But if he doesn't become that equal, if he falls into the pattern from another lifetime, like drinking, hanging out with his buddies, not making enough money, not spending time with the children, not communicating, then the wife has the right to divorce. Back in many lifetimes, they couldn't divorce. So that is a female claiming her personal power in this life. So again, you have free will, so you can work it out. And that would be great. But also, they don't sometimes. And that's why they have to go on. So instead of saying he's wrong, she's wrong, you have to say, this isn't good, this isn't bad. We have a learning lesson. And when you do divorce, I tell people, get rid of the anger. Because if you still divorced and you're angry, you're still going to repeat that one in another life because you still have those tangled messages, right? Because how people know it, I go, well, you got this pattern. He's drinking, he's this, he's that. And he goes, he's doing that in this life. I said, he did it in another life. And you have same patterns. We all have addictions or patterns. And I don't mean like heavy addictions, but we all are addicted to certain things that we want to do again in this lifetime. So you have to become aware. That's that quiet time. I think most people don't slow down long enough to go in. Honestly, that's the word. Honestly look at their patterns. And if they do look at their patterns, they go, well, oh my gosh, I had a boyfriend with that pattern. And my mother was like that. Oh my gosh, my boss was like that. My husband, I said, they're all trying to teach you a pattern. You have to become aware. That's why quiet time meditation, and people say they can't meditate. I'm saying 5 minutes, at least give me 5 minutes a day where you just shut down and say, is there anything I need to know? Okay.
So insightful, and yeah, that apparently gave me a bit of goosebumps the way you talked about meditation too, because for me meditation has been the thing that I struggled with. Not struggling, but I've always been confused how to start. And from the past few months, I've actually started, just sitting with myself and closing my eyes, talking to myself. And that is something that I call my meditation.
Right.
And thank you for saying that, because I resonated with it, and I hope the listeners, they're also resonating with it. So thank you for that insight.
Well, we can also meditate when we're swimming laps. We get in the zone, and when we're walking or when we're just out in nature, that's also a form of meditation. Yes, if you can be still, great. But if you can't, whatever. And then people say, oh, I'm still and I fell asleep. I go, it doesn't matter. Another way is having someone guide you through a guided meditation
Mm.
where you hear them talk and then there's like music or quiet for a while and then they talk. That's very good for beginners. Now, on my website, donnahartley.com, there's a free meditation at the bottom of the homepage. They don't have to go anywhere but the homepage. They click it. They're at the ocean in Hawaii because I lived in Hawaii. I graduated from college there. I surfed at Diamond Head and I was Miss Hawaii. So I love the islands. So it's an easy, easy meditation with the ocean and the bird sounds, and it's free for anybody.
I would love to know that, was there a moment where, someone came in and they met with their, not met, but, they got to know about their past life, and something in them, it changed, or they transformed in a way that their past life could have not. So yeah, any instance.
Well, when you cross over to the other side, okay, that dimension, whatever. And I crossed over when I had malnutrition as a kid, my first heart surgery at 16, a DC 10 plane crash. I was the last survivor. That one nailed my life. And it said I was a Hollywood actress. I was trying to be someone I wasn't. And they said, you are not on your spiritual path. Now, nobody judges you when you're communicating with the other side. When you feel this great moment, when you feel this love, they're just showing you the possibilities. See, everybody's worthy that comes in this life. We just get caught on the earth level and we think we're not worthy. We are worthy. So it's a reminder. But what happens, you get it, you feel it, you want to change, and then you get caught in 1 year, you're back in the same old patterns of work, complaining, going home, or sitting in front of the TV. So it has to be a conscious effort. So like anything, you have to put some time and energy. If someone's to start snow skiing, They might have to take lessons. They have to learn. They have to practice. So it's the same thing with understanding what your mission is, what your purpose is. So this is what I say. People beg, barter, pray, change my life. Then if you meditate, it's the next one. Gets you quiet, start to get you answers. Little flashes come. You could be driving the car. You could be having breakfast, something just simple. The flash. That's your intuition. Then trust that intuition. Now, this is when it falls apart. Then you have to act upon it. Okay. Or you're back in the same cycle. You're not trusting the gift that's been given to you about a past life. Because many people are missing what their gift is in this life, what their purpose is. Because I've got this job. I know I want to do this art thing but they're afraid to do it. That's your intuition hitting you kind of over the head, giving you insights. But it's up to the humans. Us humans get caught in the lower levels to say, I'm breaking away from that. I'm going to trust it. Because once you trust it, then things start to open up. Opportunities, jobs, people, they all start. But if you block it, if you're not helping yourself, no one else is going to help you. Yeah. So did that answer the question?
It did. Also, I agree to the last statement that you made, that if you're not ready to help yourself, nobody else will. Be there for people out there, and you be the kindest person. But when it comes to you, you're just not kind to yourself. So that won't make any sense, right? You have to stand for yourself.
I think most people aren't kind enough to themselves. They judge themselves, forgive other people. That's that self-care. That's that take a walk for 15 minutes in the sunlight. That means pet an animal. You know what I mean? Or be around. They're so joyful. They're here to help heal us. That means maybe getting a massage or playing a sport that you like to. That's just as important. When I had to start doing that, I wrote in my appointment book my appointments and my work, but I also blocked off my fun time with friends, time to meditate. And I had to put it in the book over and over again till I started to create a more balanced life. And I found that I was happier and I wasn't so cranky, because I was living more a balanced life. And I'm going to go kayaking, on Saturday or something like that. Oh, I'm going to meet friends and go to a Native American powwow. I made time for other things. And I think that's right. People get stressed, and they don't take the time. Once you take that time, you also become aware of your patterns from other lifetimes. And then you can say, okay, these patterns keep showing up. They want to teach me something. So that's what I ask. What is my lesson to learn so I don't have to repeat it again? Okay, what is my lesson to learn? So, because I don't want to keep doing the same cycle. Okay.
So true, so true. Also, I would love to talk about skepticism now. So some people who are listening right now, they might be curious, but also doubtful at the very same time that, past lives, they sound like a nice story, but is it real? A lot of people, they still question the belief, and they have their own points to prove it. Well, what is skepticism, and what would you say to these people, who don't really believe in it? Not just to make them believe or persuade them, but, in a way that, yes, this is the misconception that you have.
Well, you know what? Some people aren't ever going to believe. So I just say, wait till we both pass on and we'll meet on that other dimension, whatever you call, and you'll figure it out that you just didn't do one life. So I do that with some people because it's not my job to convince them. But if people start to look at things that they go, wow, where did I get this talent of singing from? Nobody has this talent in my family. I love to sing. Well, where does that come from? You bet it comes from a past life. So whether they want to acknowledge that or just think, well, I just had it as a natural gift. Well, it came from somewhere. Or people are so scared of a little spider. Well, where did that come from? I say, that's right. It came from probably another lifetime that a spider killed you. So you know what? I know when I say I'm a past life reader, I speak all over the world. A lot of people are open to it and they go, yes. And then there's some skepticisms that say you're a past life reader and everybody leaves the room. You know what I mean? So if that's where they want to be, I choose in this life, and people that I work with, people that you would say, you hang out with, they are choosing to get out of the darkness and to raise their light energy. Nothing is perfect. But if there's a possibility that I lived before, which I did, and there's a possibility I'll live again, there you go, then I want to clean up those patterns. I want to be kind. So for the people that are skeptic, I say, okay, forget about a past life. How do you want to be kind? How do you want to be remembered? What do you want to do that's positive in this life? What mark do you want to leave? So if you do that, that's all that matters.
True, true, true. So true, so true. And thank you for putting it through in such a beautiful way. Also, I have this question, and it has always, been in my mind that what if our soul, it says that I've learned enough, and, this is it. Or is it this way, or is it that growth is infinite, but it is never enough for a soul to learn?
There's always more to learn, but you don't have to come back to Earth. There's so many other dimensions. There's so many other galaxies. There's so many other planets that are highly developed. So if you say, I have completed my Earth lessons, I choose, to do this. I understand. I'm kind. I'm living in unconditional love. I'm willing to change. You can move up to one of those other dimensions. On those dimensions, they're telepathic. They're healers. They look out for the earth. It's more like you're the mentors up there on another level. But is the work ever done? I don't think so. I think we always have more things to learn or study. So that's the way I look at it. But if we're enjoying it and make it a part of our life, whether you lived in Lemuria, which is a history that happened, or Atlantis, or if you're a Pleiadian or a Turian, these are all other levels. See, and some people don't even understand there's all those other levels of consciousness. So there's a lot to learn.
I get it. And it is very fascinating. I am so fascinated by this whole concept of it. And Donna, thank you for this, and thank you for reminding us that life, it isn't a single trip from beginning to end. You live so many lives through it, and you have so much to do for your past life as well, because you have to clean something that you did in that past life so that your future generations can have better things, and you are a prime example of it. Also, thank you for sharing your 6 time near death experiences with us, and also your story. I actually am really fascinated by the way you put your story through. Also, listeners, whether you believe in past lives or not, today's conversation, it invites us all to look closer to our own patterns, to our own habits, to our own passions, and to our own choices sometimes. Because even if we can't change the past, we can shape the future. And as I said, Donna is a prime example of it. So thank you for being here. Thank you for listening to this podcast. And I hope we meet next time. Next time on Divine Decode. Signing off, Pragya Malviya.